Welcome, acolytes. First of all, agent of social media chaos, thank you for introducing me to this video and channel. If you like my content, like, subscribe, blah, blah, blah. You know the shebang. But acolytes, they want to ban all anime and mangas because it causes people to be violent. Where did we freaking hear that? Video games, D&D, the bike I was driving. Always something. There's always something, and it just pops out again and again and again. And of course, Chibi reviews probably overdose it a bit, but for F's sake, again. Let's just start.
Video games cause people to be violent. This was something that kind of started to become very popular as a saying in the early 2000s, late 2000s, and even in the 2010s. And the reason why that all started was because of like Mortal Kombat, Grand Theft Auto, and games in a very similar nature. And one of the big people that you always saw complaining about video games and saying they cause people to be violent was either soccer moms, you had old people, politicians, news anchors.
Yeah, those were basically the freaks that we all ignored after a while. Because it just wasn't worth the stress they caused us. Now they are freaking, well, people that we for some freaking reason are hearing. And thinking they are normal. Not a fan.
But also people from Hollywood. Now, why? Why would people from Hollywood and these politicians, etc., want to say that video games cause violence? Well, here's one big reason. Video games in its very early stages, in the early 2000s, the late 2000s, were really beginning to showcase their narrative weight. That they really could tell a thought-provoking story that can get a lot of people engaged.
Yep, especially politically charged story. Guess why that was something that politicians didn't wanna get into, or thought that it's bad. Guess 3 effing times, acolytes.
And immersed. And so because of how it was kind of slowly taking footholds and steps into the territory of, let's say, Western media, like, for instance, Hollywood movies and stuff,
Yep.
You can see why some people legitimately would want to slander video games and try to throw it off the map, so to speak, to make sure that people won't want to participate in gaming culture because it would potentially, lose them money. So they want to make sure it looks bad in the common consumer's eyes. So to make a long story short, we fast forward to now the 2020s, and we have a bunch of countries, and this isn't the first time I've seen something like this, but it is still very relevant to talk about. We now have a report coming from the United Nations saying that they think manga, anime, games, and all that, cause violence and cause gender stereotypes and people.
By the way, if you are, let's just say, degenerate enough, you can find some horrible mangas and animes and games. If you're really degenerate enough, you will find really horrible stuff. But that's not all of it. So can we just please stop pretending that every single thing that's named manga, anime, game, film is the same effing thing? Because there are so many differences. You can take two gamers, let them talk for 5 minutes with each other, and it's possible that they don't know what the other person is even talking about. That's a possibility.
People to be violent towards women and children, and I'm just like, we're literally living through the age again of video games cause violence, but now it's anime and manga cause violence. And I'm just like, dude, if you're pulling this argument, okay, let's play devil's advocate and let's go on the limb and say fine, okay? Let's want to humor this for a second. That means that movies in general, hell, even books, literature, also theoretically should cause violence.
Yep.
Obviously, I don't think that's the case. I don't believe media, literature, and all that causes violence. People that usually...
Hear me out. As I think I said this point a lot of the times, there are always exceptions to our rule. There will always be some freak sitting down, reading a book, looking at an anime, playing a game, looking at a film, playing D&D, And this freak will think, I can do something really bad and it's actually good. Let's just say the boy that actually self-deleted not too long ago because of an AI, because of role-playing. Yes, we're talking about people that are just mentally not well. It happens. Can a video game just cause something violent in that? Yes, it can. But I'm gonna tell you one thing that actually happened in Poland with a neighbor of mine with 2 children. The parents went in, explained that the violence in Tom and Jerry isn't real, that the cat and the mouse in there won't get harmed. So the smaller brother grabbed a freaking knife, went to the bigger brother, and wanted to stab him. Luckily, the parents actually found out, caught the knife, explained that it has real life consequences if you do that, and it was fine. So yes, it can, but it's such a gigantic exception of the rule. Come on. Like, somebody is already mentally ill.
Enact on these type of things, we're already ill to begin with, mentally ill,
Yes,
and not ill.
as
Okay, they were gonna
yeah.
do something vicious to begin with.
Good, yeah.
All I'm saying is that this is crazy. That you have in this day and age, like countries trying to basically ban and censor everything because they think it's going to cause violence towards a group of people, and I'm just like, there's so many bigger problems.
Against a specific group of people. Because the countries, or a lot of countries, especially the modern countries, are right now actually quite okay if white people actually get freaking destroyed, or specifically white men. So let's not pretend that it's always like against marginalized or something like that. I know he didn't directly say it, but come on. I'm just sick of this point, to be honest. I just wanted to change again. And today I'm just a bit grumpy, as you may hear.
That it's just like you decide to focus your attention on anime, manga, and video games instead of anything else. There is just so many other important issues that you could just think about. And this is what they land on. This is what they want to put resources on. I'm just like, dude. And the reason why I'm talking about this, even though I don't live in the United Nations, the reason why this is important to talk about, for one, is to get the information out there of this ongoing for people that do live in the United Nations. But secondly, if this, theoretically, I don't think it will go anywhere. It could become a nothing burger. But theoretically, if this gained traction and stuff like this actually did happen and they somehow ban or censor anime and manga, this could have a cascading domino effect on other countries. We've already seen some effective usages of bans and censorship.
And he's correct about that. It will have a cascading effect if this actually comes true and people actually allow it to happen, basically. But I'm gonna be honest, I am so disappointed in the democratic system right now. People just pick the same people again and again and again. They just get fucked from every side in their life. And they are still like, no, I think that's a good idea to actually get the person that did all of those things and just keep them in power. How stupid do you have to be about it? And no, I didn't see the American elections right now, or they didn't happen, or Germany's something. No, nothing. I just find it particularly stupid to actually repeat the same mistake again and again and again. That's why I'm grumpy.
Australia. And so, like I said, if like United Nations went through with this and they definitely did somehow get like full-blown censorship and bans of anime and manga, then this could eventually seep its way into other countries and other culture because of, you know, other huge Western countries kind of bowing down to censorship, so
Yeah,
to speak.
true.
Which is wild. So that's why I think it's very important to talk about these subjects, because, like I said, it could have a rippling effect on so many other places going forward if this went into effect.
Yep.
Anyways, getting on to the main point, this article has been making the rounds. For instance, this statement, and it all stems basically from this post. I commented on this a few days ago, back on October 30th, and this is when it really happened and all that. I commented on it, and I did the Google translation of this post, and this is basically what the official statement was on about anime, manga, and video games. So let's read this. In this final opinion, concerns were expressed that prawn, video games, manga, and other animated products may incite violence against women and girls based on gender or sexual orientation.
Of course. Only one gender can be affected by that. No other. Of course. It's not a power grab. No, we are really worried about the girls and women in our life. I mean, and yes, there are enough actual dumb bots that will believe that. If we actually give a fuck about the health of our women and children, girls, be it girls or boys or men, you do something about the unfairness or the basically racism that's ongoing right now. This acceptance of this is just sick. It's sickening.
It further recommended effectively implementing existing legal measures and monitoring programs to address the production and distribution of prawn, video games, and animation products that reinforce discriminatory gender stereotypes and reinforce sexual violence against women and girls.
Yeah, and this is, I don't effing know how many freaking animes or mainstream animes I've seen where the woman or the girl is actually kicking ass. I really cannot recall anything where women were actual victims of stuff like that and they couldn't defend themselves. Like in a really widespread thing. Of course, there are, as I said, there are exceptions, like harem animes, of course, but even there, most of the women are just freaking strong. Let's just get Farron. I forgot. I cannot speak I just always forget Farron. You know about the elf woman that actually, like, a beautiful anime, by the way. I love it. I almost get a tear in my eyes. Farron. Beautiful thing. Beautiful anime. And the main character there is a young woman, or young, I mean, an elf. Young. And she's one of the freaking most baddest and strongest mages in the freaking world. She literally forced, and there's a spoiler, but she literally forced a demon to decapitate herself. What the fuck are we talking about? And the demon, by the way, also forced other people to do that. So yeah, I don't get it. Where is this coming from?
Wild. Once again, this goes into what I talked about, how, like, that age-old setting, video games cause violence. Now they're saying it that anime, manga, and all this other type of stuff causes violence.
It will come again, by the way. Video games will be on the chopping block.
There's so many more important things in life. There's so much more important stuff than this. And I cannot believe a government, any government, honestly, that not just UN, but any government, I would do this for any government would focus on this over any other issues. There's bound to be issues about maybe housing or maybe people like with job situation.
Okay, acolytes. If somebody actually knows Chibi or something like that, because he seems to struggle to actually maybe think why this is a thing that happens. Look at the American vote system. It's not about the wisest decision you can actually hit. It's about performance. no matter what you do, you can have the best economic plan in the world. Nobody will even hear you if you're boring.
There's bound to be something in terms of just like maybe getting roads fixed up or something, you know, infrastructure, so to speak. But instead of focusing on...
And by the way, I took it specifically from America, not because I have something against, because in Germany it's not very particularly different. I mean, you have to hear about a person to actually know the person. But America is one of the most extreme examples of the entire thing, because just look at your candidates, dear acolytes, those who come from America, and tell me it's not true. Please, prove me wrong. I wish to be proven wrong here. Not just by, I disagree with you. I mean, proof. What am I seeing wrong?
Problems that really do affect people in their daily lives, they focus on something that is very low-hanging fruit just to act like they're actually doing something. It's wild to me. I really hate stuff like this. I hate censorship to begin with. All forms of censorship, I don't like this. I don't agree with this, and it's just like, I especially hate it when it's being used as like rhetoric, like similar to video games. That's literally what is happening here. It's just crazy, man. It's a clown show. Like, just straight up, it's a clown show. And it's even crazier that this comes out around the same time as, like, when this came out as well. Literally a few days prior to, basically...
The Catholic TV. The Vatican is on our life, the official mascot of the holy year 2025. Lose Italian for light. Yeah. Yeah, unveiled. Sorry, not unalived. Archbishop Fischella says the mascot was inspired by the church's desire to live even with the pop culture, so loved by our youth. Yeah. Oh, this is. Is it actually something good? I mean, the mascot right now. Let me think about it for a few seconds. So the mascot itself, it has a stick, a white stick that could... I know what it represents, to be honest. It could be a sheep herder, like herd the sheep as in Catholic... That's normal in the Catholic Church. The cross, the rain mantle and the rain shoes could be a hint at Noah's Ark. Or this could be even Noah. And the rest, I mean, I don't see anything particularly obvious right now. But yeah, are those seashells in her eyes? Wait, are those seashells in her eyes? Let me... Huh. I don't know. Gonna be honest, I don't know. I just don't know. But still, damn. Freaky. Extremely freaky. Yeah, sorry about that stop. Because a few of you actually, I am surprised that some of you acolytes instantly notice that sometimes my character just jumps around. Yes, this is for those who don't know or just didn't wanna ask on Twitter. That's fine, or on X. I'm actually doing the thumbnails shtick right now under what I'm watching, and it's not particular because I found something good about it. It's just the thing I want to do, and I actually want to find some background about it that I can repeatedly use, but I have no idea how it's gonna do it, so that's that.
The church, the Vatican...
If you have any ideas, please let me hear it, acolytes. I just don't know how I can effectively melt my character into an effective thumbnail.
Having a anime girl mascot, it's just like, what is even going on in this world? It's very clear that anime has become a lot more accepting and popular as of late, and this gets into the discussion I had at the beginning of the video, and I think one of the big pushing driving forces of maybe anti-anime is probably Hollywood to a degree. Because it's like, let's be honest, there's a lot more fans of anime nowadays, a lot more people stepping their toes into the anime for the first time, and obviously that could cause a lot of people not to really care about much what's coming out of Hollywood in comparison. So I do think it potentially has an effect on them, and maybe some people over there as well in like entertainment industry is not a big fan of anime potentially becoming as popular as it is, because it is theoretically stepping on their toes. Now, I have no evidence to support this, obviously, but it makes sense from a business perspective why they would be potentially upset, and they would want to potentially be cutthroat and try to slander any form of products or any form of competition. Anyways, I will leave it at that. I wanted to talk...
Chibi, as always, thank you. Very, very good video. You know the things, like it, show him some love. And I agree on many points of him. Acolytes, I assume you too. And I was just grumpy today, so it is what it is. Take it or leave it. But as it is, good night.